We not going for the okie doke no more. We not going for the okie doke no more. No more. No more. We need doers of the deed. A sister got to be able to move around. I can't be contained. You know what I'm saying? Black girl magic is real. Hello, somebody. Those of us who can relate to the everyday struggle of the everyday people of this nation must unite regardless of our ethnicity, our gender, our sexual orientation, our religion or no religion. We stand together. If nothing fundamentally changes for multi-millionaires and billionaires, then nothing fundamentally changes for you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody. Hello, everybody. So glad for you to join us this evening. Do I have a treat for you? We are with Aramis Ayala, and she is running for Attorney General in the great state of Florida, baby. Can something good come out of Florida? Aramis, this is a delight to be able to talk to you about why you are running for Attorney General in the great state of Florida. But before we get there, I want to introduce you to a few folks, just in case they don't know a little bit about your background. So Aramis was Florida's first state attorney, right? Is that right? First African-American, first
Correct.
Black state attorney. You led many reforms in that state. And I want to talk about some of those reforms and how you are going to bring that reform mindset to becoming the next Attorney General of that state. God knows we need a freedom fighter like you to be the Attorney General, not only in that state, but all over. We got people, Florida's in the house. You got fire emojis coming up. Folks are really excited that you and I are together, and they are with us tonight. Welcome. It is such an honor to talk to you, and thank you for being bold enough to run for Attorney General in the state of Florida.
Well, thank you for having me, for sharing the platform, and for all that you do. You know, it's trailblazers like you who set the standard and really make people feel free and empowered to make the change that's needed.
Well, thank you. Well, you're part of that. So talk to us a little bit about the reforms, because you have experience. So this is not a dress rehearsal for you. You have actually done some of the things that you will implement once you become the next Attorney General in the state of Florida.
So I'm excited to talk about it, because a lot of people, like you said, have ideas about making changes. But when I was elected as state attorney, people were celebrating, the woman in this district, the first Black person in the whole state. And I'm like, if you're going to celebrate me, why don't you celebrate what comes with it, the mindset to make the change? And some of what we did was, the very first conviction integrity unit. A lot of times prosecutors aren't willing to admit that we get it wrong, while there's people who are sitting in custody because we got it wrong. There are families who are missing their parents. So we set up conviction integrity. The Attorney General, I have a statewide conviction integrity. If we're going to send people to prison at the alarming rate that we do, we need to make sure that we're doing it right. Our death penalty, we're not looking at conviction integrity. And the truth is, Florida leads the nation in death row exoneration. So for us to know that and to be we're not doing anything, that's where reform starts. We let in bail reform. We had a Brady list. And I tell the story about our Brady list, which is a list of officers who, whose credibility, they have terrorized the community. And I always encourage people to look up Officer Jonathan Mills with the Orlando Police Department, because that officer was Officer of the Year. And we found out later that he had sodomized a Black male during the stop. And it went hidden for like 3 or 4 years. The man, as a result of our Brady list, has lost his license. He's been terminated and now being prosecuted for sexual battery. Those are some of the changes and so many more.
And Aramis, let me rest, because what you're even saying tonight is so bold that someone would come into office as a state attorney and set standards and policies and actually execute them. And here you are running for attorney general on those bold ideas. But the state integrity, an integrity unit.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, especially if you are the attorney general, your state's attorney, or if you're a prosecutor, a lot of what you do is wrapped into conviction. To have somebody that's willing to say, we're going to step back a little bit because no person, no entity is actually perfect. So we may have gotten it wrong. So we're going to set up a state conviction integrity unit. Can we rest right there for a minute?
Let's rest there for a second, because the reality is, so long, well, let me start. We have to recognize the bulk of elected attorneys are white men. So when you think about people's experience with the system, it's not that I'm better because I'm a woman or I'm better because I'm Black. This is what diversity does in a criminal justice system. It helps us redefine justice. For far too long, justice has been defined as the mass incarceration of Black, brown, and poor people. And if we are going to really define public safety and justice, we have to redefine and allow those most directly impacted to influence how we define it.
Now, you said, what you just said preaches. Diversity helps us redefine justice. People all over the country and the world, did you hear what Sister Amaris just said? Diversity helps us redefine justice. And so it is important that people from different backgrounds are in spaces and places so that they can bring that to bear and hopefully create a more just system. You bold. And then the Brady list. Please talk to us about that, please.
The reality is, people think that you can criticize law enforcement and still appreciate, value, and respect their work. I'm telling you, if something happens to me, my husband, my daughter, somebody, guess who I'm calling? Right? I'm calling the right. I'm going to expect a level of service, but that does not mean that when they arrive on all the scenes where they believe that has happened, that they all act with the highest level of integrity. We have to understand that we've seen things on camera. We've seen death, in the hands of law enforcement. We've seen abuse and batteries. And if we turn a blind eye to that, we're turning a blind eye to injustice. And the minute that we ignore the injustice, the minute that our entire system begins to crumble, which is why we are at the stage where we are right now.
So besides your experience as being the state's attorney, what motivated you to take this thing, take the bold step to take it to the next level? You have people saying, thank you. People are really on fire about what you're talking about now, because this is almost unheard of.
I would say it's unheard of because diversity isn't welcome in places like this. We have this idea of protecting the status quo and protecting this image that doesn't help the people. And when you allow someone in here who has a different and a different vision, you're going to get a different product. You're going to get what accountability looks like in a different manner. Prosecutors, we are hired to ensure accountability for those who do wrong. That means accountability in the mirror. That's how you raise standards of accountability, by holding yourself accountable the same way you hold others accountable.
My, y'all hearing it? You all are hearing it. Listen, wherever you live, Florida, I'm especially talking to you. Now, you got an opportunity to do something good, Florida. We ain't gonna talk about all the messes you've made in the past. You got an opportunity to clean up some of that mess, to redeem yourself. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so.
Let him say so.
Let him say so. By supporting Amaris. So I want you to go to Aramis Ayala. Amaris, what is that? Florida.
Yep.
FL.
It's Aramis Ayala, ARAMIS, Ayala, AYALAFL for Florida.com. It's my first name, like a breath of fresh air. Aramis Ayala, FL.com.
And it is scrolling on our screen. So make sure, please. Now, you don't have to live in Florida to be able to support Amaris. Her becoming this state's attorney general helps all of us, no matter where we live. Teamwork makes the dream work. So go ahead and help her win this race. She needs time, talent, and treasure. Is that right, Amherst? Some time, talent, and some treasure.
Let's start with treasure. You know, and I say that lightly, but I'm telling you, we're up against a lot. And while this is going to directly impact Florida in the immediate, you know, in the immediate time frame, but we also have to recognize Florida has an outrageous governor who's vying for the position of president. So if we don't have an attorney general who keeps him in check to ensure that all of the oppressive tactics and mentalities and rhetoric that is coming out of Florida doesn't remain in check by the attorney general who has the job to keep him in check, then we are now unleashing something that can impact the entire nation. Florida is the ground where they want to start all of this change, banning books, you know, impacting people, decimating congressional districts. This is where we're allowing it. Our current attorney general is either sitting mute or she's actually assisting, being the personal attorney of that governor, the representation for the people. I am running to be the people, the job of the attorney general.
The people's attorney. Yeah, it's my understanding. I mean, she's somewhat of a rubber stamp and does not comport herself as a separate power, as a separate office. Is that
correct? Today, you know, they just released an article where she literally said that our privacy rights, which are embedded in our law, are no longer valid. We don't have privacy rights. The right to access safe abortion, the right to bodily autonomy doesn't exist through our right to privacy. And that is sickening because Florida had a very specific provision in our Constitution that gives us a privacy right. So for me, as the general, I don't care what y'all are doing in all the other states in this country. Florida has a provision that protects women. And that is the reason that the attorney general should be standing up and saying this is violating our state constitution. Instead, she's saying, oh no, they're got it wrong and misinterpreted. Ma'am, no, that's not.
Why don't she just go ahead and work for the governor?
I'm a helper. I'm a helper.
I know that's right. And we are going to help you, help her be able to go. Someone has to keep DeSantis in check. We got Jackie putting that out there, wishing you the best of luck. People are really on fire. Now, listen, folks, you're on fire for Amaris. She needs that. She needs your treasure. Campaigns cost money. We need money for the mission. And she is up against some pretty powerful forces because they don't want somebody like Amaris who's going to come in there and shake the ground. They don't want her in office. We want her in office, and that is why we must give money towards the mission. So make sure that you donate. You can donate right now. Don't hesitate. Go on and donate while we're doing this live. Right now.
Aramis Ayala FL.com. Make a donation. And I like to, if I can just have a minute, you know, a lot of times people think that you're just giving money just to give money. When we're running a campaign, just like this, what we're talking now, it costs money to get communications out. The money is being raised to communicate because the minute they see me coming, they've got $5 million in their coffers. They can throw out a nasty ad and convince people that I'm somebody I'm not. And if I only have $2, I can't respond to that. That's why we have to live and build our social media. We have to live and build the small amounts that we can in order to influence and allow people to know who I am. I'm not scared. That this is not about a political career for me. This is truly about service and representing the people. I live very comfortably. I decided to stand up because I knew that I had the platform, the history, the passion to truly make a difference. And having faced cancer, been 24 hours from death, what else can happen? I'm prepared to go down, however it goes down, to truly represent the people. That's my real truth.
There it is, a true servant of the people and sharing a part of your life story. Sometimes when people see folks running for office, they think all is well, everything is glamorous, that we haven't had, a story to tell. And I'm glad that you're sharing some of your story. And your point about if you don't have enough money to fight back, I am a witness, okay? They will come for you, especially when you stand up against the status quo. And that is what that is what her campaign is about. She is what I would call a heart, soul servant. The heart and soul is in being in service to the people. And those are the very people that the power structure does not want Amaris to win this seat, because they know that you are, in the words of Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, unbought and unbossed. And speaking about being unbought and unbossed, I want folks to know that I have a brand new show starting. Amherst, I'm so excited, on October the 17th on TYT. And I need people to go and subscribe right now. Again, it premieres on October 17th on TYT, and you can join for free. Go to tyt.com/unbossed to subscribe. I want you to do that. But I am talking to another freedom fighter who is unbossed and unbossed, unbought and unbossed. Chandler a while ago, because people are making comments, had made the comment that not only do we need you, but it is important to have leaders like, and I'll paraphrase it, it is important to have leaders like you, because what happens in Florida impacts the rest of the country. So it's not just about Florida. Would you like to comment on what Chandler had to say about why it is important for other folks? Chandler Smith said Florida's issues and policies very much affect and influence the rest of America. It's a power state, and we need someone like you, meaning you, Amaris, in office. Thank you, Chandler Smith.
Well, thank you, Chandler. I appreciate that, and we need people like you to help supporting us get there, getting out the vote, and spreading the word. You know, a lot. I liken it to when someone wants to be a movie star or get into. They head where? To New York. They head to California. When someone wants to make government policy, they want to implement change, they want to do something. A lot of battleground in their trials are happening in the state of Florida. They test it here to determine what's going to happen. So if we are there trying to test all of these things with our education system, they're testing different policies, these congressional, all the things DeSantis, our current governor, is saying, he's trying and testing it out with all of his other GOP buddies to see how it's going to work. And if we don't have the strength to say not today and not on my watch, then now it spreads to other states who will say, well, let me try it here, work there. That's how it begins to feed out. But the same way negativity spreads, I believe the positivity can spread as well. The highly educated, the pursuit of justice on a way that we've never seen before. That's what we have to do, and that's why.
Hello, somebody. I don't want to skip over the fact that you gave us just a snippet of, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot by saying that, and we're live. Maybe I am putting you on the spot. But you talked about overcoming cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you, because your testimony means a lot to people who may be enduring that moment right now, and to see you incredibly stand up. Not only to fight against the system of injustice, but you're fighting for people. Those two things go together. Can you just share a little bit of your personal story and what drives you to be in this moment?
Absolutely. So I'm the person, if you're going to run for public office, it's all of me. It's all none of me. I don't run from who I am and how I got here. I was in my second year of law school, and I had a tumor that was growing in my neck. I was suffocating, and I ended up in the emergency room 24 hours from death because of the tumor suffocating me. They did an emergency tracheotomy where I was able to breathe. I had to sit out of law school for chemotherapy for an entire year, and I went back to try to finish my last year of law school, and then later on had side effects of a bilateral hip replacement, learning how to walk again before the bar exam. Once I finally literally got on my feet, I was never the same again. That law degree, not about my ego, wasn't about, anything other than true service. Because in those low, dark moments, we say a lot of prayers and make a lot of promises. I knew that when I got back up, I would do good on those promises. And I have continued in my career, in my personal life, to fight for justice, and to allow my life to be a living testimony that second chances really make a difference.
You are a miracle. I mean, you really are. And to go through something like that and to come out of it even more determined to be a beacon of hope, to be a vessel of good, if you will, is so awe-inspiring. And I want folks to understand that it is rare, very rare. A lot of folks will run for office. A lot of folks will talk, but it's rare to have somebody that is deep in their essence of who they are not only running for this office, but is in the tradition of what it means to be truly a public servant and to use, Amaris, what you have been through as your testimony, and to then take that a step further, because you didn't have to deal with this trauma and this drama of running for public office, but you took what you've been through and are using it for the benefit of the people of not only the great state of Florida, but also this nation. So again, Chandler had it right. As Florida goes, so goes the nation. We must help to get you in this office. So I am asking our sisters and brothers and our family and friends all over this country, don't walk. I need you to run or do whatever you need to do. I don't want to say walk or run, whatever you can do to help Amaris become the next Attorney General of the great state of Florida. It's very easy to help her. You don't have to live in that state. If you do live in that state, you got some extra work to do. But wherever you are, you can help her with time, talent, or treasure. Amaris, what is your email address again? Or your website, I'm sorry, your website.
Website is my first name, Aramis, Aramis, last name Ayala, Ayala, the letter FL for Florida.com. That's Aramis Ayala, FL.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Aramis Ayala, FL, because somebody just got that blue check today.
All right. Go ahead.
As well as on Facebook and Instagram.
Very good. And we have Henry saying, my fellow Bridgeport Bearcats.
That's Henry McClellan. Oh my God. Hey, Henry.
He said, riding with you for sure. How can I help? Henry, she just gave you how you can help. I don't know if you want to give Henry a special other message, but Henry saying, how can we help? We riding with you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hey, Henry. That is this. When I say this is like, I grew up in Saginaw, all right. Went to high school in Bridgeport, went to University of Michigan. I've been living in Florida for the last, 20 some years, met my husband, built a family. So to hear a name from the 1990s, I was like, hey, Henry. So anyhow, but you know what, though, I share that because I need people to know that for whatever reason, when a woman in particular decides to stand up, people wonder who's pulling her strings. Who is she working for? And I remind people, go back to my history. Look at the people who I grew up with. I've always been this person. Definitely more polished, more educated, but check the character. This is who I am. I've always believed in people. I've always fought. I've always stood up, and I've always believed in justice. And I still do. Talking to somebody from the age of 16, 17, at now 47, still the same person, same character, just ready to fight with a lot more weapons.
I know that's right. She said, go and check my record. That's it. Check my record. I love it. I love your spirit, your heart, the sacrifice that you and your family are making to be front and center in this battle for justice in all of its forms. And sometimes we think about, when we hear the word justice, it can seem so nebulous. Like, what exactly does that mean? But it means having people in elected office who actually care about the people that they are going to serve, people who are willing to stand up against the status quo, people who are willing to sacrifice something. And Amaris, that is you. You are all inspiring in every way. And I need the people of this country to recognize that, to get to know you, and then to support you. Come through, Florida. Now, Florida, we counting on you. Now, y'all can make up for DeSantis almost by electing. Putting Sister Amaris in there so she could be the check and the balance on him.
And if I can just say one more thing is for closing out, I just want to remind people that a lot of times, my history has been as elected state attorney, but we often, relate everything to Black and brown people to the criminal justice system. We need somebody who's going to fight for this economy. I don't care where you come from. You care about these prices on milk, on gas, your mortgage, your insurance. And that's the job of the Attorney General as well, to check all of the corporate greed, to ensure that we're not having, companies gouging and harming us. It's about economic stability as well as public safety and criminal justice. The job of the Attorney General is a well-rounded that ensures that you live peacefully, live safely, and that you have an economic interest and the benefit that is equivalent to all the rest of the wealthy people. That you equal access and opportunity is what my job is, Attorney General.
There it is, to be the check and the balance on systems and companies in that state, not just about what happens within the criminal or the legal system. Because I would love your thoughts as we wrap this up. I have a hard time with calling it a criminal justice system. To me, those two words just don't go together. And I know we're more enlightened now, supposedly, than ever before. So criminal justice, and I'm not asking us to solve this philosophical debate about what we should call it. So the legal system. So
I think it's a fair assessment. People say it because right now we're just following the laws, and people often ask me, when I went through the whole issue with the death penalty and I left office and I decided I was going to take a break. I've explained to people, when I took an oath to be state attorney, I took an oath to follow the law. I also took an oath to pursue justice. The goal is for those to align. The problem is that they don't. And if you want me to choose between the law and justice every single day. So that's why we have to remember that we have to have just laws. We have to have people in place who are find justice in the law, who are going to pursue justice at its roots, because we can't create unjust laws and then be shocked when the administration of them is unjust. We have to have them at their inception rooted in justice. So when we talk about the criminal justice system, it is legal, but it should be justice. And while some you don't want to use the term, I admire that, but I'm still fighting for justice and will define it at all costs.
There it is. And we got Charlie saying, amen. Look, you making me want to leap out of my skin. If it wouldn't take me off camera, I'd just run around the room right now. I would. People know I would do it. It is just so refreshing to talk to you. And you're making me think it was St. Thomas Aquinas that Dr. King was quoting, but the whole notion of just laws and unjust laws. And both exist and have existed in the history of this country. And it takes a special kind of person, especially who's in the field, to recognize that duality, that just laws, unjust laws, and you got to stand up for what's just. So when you said I am in the pursuit of justice, along with taking the oath to uphold the law, and if those things don't align, I'm going with justice every time. Did y'all hear what she said? Those two things don't align, baby. She going with justice every time. That gave me goosebumps. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're not feeling some type of good way about being able to support Aramis Ayala to become the next Attorney General of the state of Florida, I don't even know what to tell you. She needs your help. She needs our help. Time, talent, and treasure. Don't sit this one out. You can get involved. You can help her make history. And the type of history I'm talking about is not just the identity history, but I'm talking about a history of having somebody that is deeply rooted and steeped in what it means to create avenues and to use the power of an office for justice for all people so that they can live a good life. Ooh, Amaris, what? Go ahead. Go on and I always say close us out. Ryan is probably laughing because I am going to say one more good thing before we get out of here. So let me not even say that. But what are some of the final words you want to share with folks? And hopefully we will be able to do this again before the election day. What is it that you need Floridians to do? And what is it that you need the rest of us who do not live in the state of Florida to do to be of support to you on this quest to become the next Attorney General of the state of Florida?
It's important for people to make the contribution they can. I already said AramisAyalaFL.com. Follow me on our social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But the addition is lift the attorney, including our attorney general, our current one. People just don't know what the job is. So, part of this is education and letting them know how very important it is. You have your attorney as the attorney general, and it's a person who's supposed to be your voice, your protection, your vision, and certainly guiding you and navigating you through the system and ensuring your constitutional protections. That's the job that I'm going for. And we have someone who understands that the law should be benefiting the people of the state and not destroying them, and trying to indoctrinate, educate children, taking away, women's rights, impacting people in ways and who they love and where they live and how they live that they can't afford to live. That's where you're getting the government turning their back on people. I want to walk with people. I want to help people navigate in a way that we would want for people we love. Equality doesn't just mean the same level. Equality means the same. And I want to ensure that everyone gets the same opportunities in Florida. So as you know, Chandler said earlier, that we set the pathway in a good trajectory for the entire country to know that equal access and opportunity for economic stability, public safety, our constitutional freedoms, and certainly our democracy is our top priority. I want to lead that way.
There it is. And she can and she will with our help. So please do not sleep on this. Time, talent, and treasure to help our sister make it over the finish line. She needs money for the mission. She needs money to be able to fight against the machine that is coming, bumping up against her because of her broad vision of what justice should be, what justice could be, what justice ought to be, and what justice must be. So that's why we got to get this sister in office. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You can go to her website right now, AramisAyalaFL.com. It is scrolling across the screen. Do that. Do whatever you can with what you have. Get involved. Do not sit this one out. We have an opportunity to bring a freedom fighter to the office of Attorney General in the great state of Florida. Aramis, we are going to do this again. Ryan, duly noted. Allie, duly noted. We will definitely do this again with you before the November election. We are going to stand up and we're going to help you as much as we can be able to get you over this finish line. It takes teamwork to make the dream work, so we all must get involved. Again, Unbossed premieres on TYT on October the 17th, baby. Come on and get in on some of that. Just go to tyt.com/unbossed. I need you to subscribe. The subscription is free. And I definitely want to have you on that on the show as well before the November elections. Nothing but love for you, sis. Nothing but respect for you. Thank you so much for being willing to be in the ready position, knowing that all that we love is on the line, economically, politically, socially, and environmentally, racially, that justice must reign supreme. And because of people like you running, because you are running, you are, in the words of Reverend Jesse Jackson, keeping hope alive. Thank you so much for being who you are and what you are, and for being on this battlefield for justice. All right, you all, let me close out with James Baldwin tonight. He once said that not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. We got a whole bunch of work to do. One of those things is to help our dear sister, Aramis Ayala, make it to become Florida's next Attorney General. All right, I'm sending all kinds of love to folks. I want you to keep the faith, but more importantly, baby, you got to keep the fight. Until next time.